We are a little more than 6 weeks from the election, and the Electoral College picture continues to shape up. Let's get some insight now from former Bush senior advisor Karl Rove and Democratic strategist Joe Trippi. Let's put up the latest map. You can see the info on the key, as we always do. Red, Romney; blue, Obama. Then pinkish is lean Romney. Light blue is lean Obama. And the yellow states, those are the toss-up states within the margin of error. This is based on polls from the last 30 days. Okay, Karl, what has changed since the last time we talked?
Well, first of all, we had a record number of polls last week, 52 in 18 states. We've had a larger number of states being polled, but we've never had 52 polls. 4 states changed status and moved towards Romney. Georgia, somebody finally ran a poll, and what happened was what Joe and I have been thinking for months. This state went from lean Romney to solid Romney. New Hampshire, the polls moved it from a lean Obama to a toss-up state. And interestingly enough, polls in New Mexico and Pennsylvania, with a total of 25 electoral votes, moved those states from Obama to lean Obama. These were offset by 3 changes that helped the Obama column. Wisconsin moved from toss-up to lean Obama, Oregon moved from lean Obama to Obama, and Arizona moved from Romney to lean Romney. This drops Obama's total of Obama states to 196, plus he has 51 lean. Romney has he grew slightly to 159 electoral votes in his column, plus 32 lean. It was a week of some changes, not a lot, but generally compensating changes.
Joe, of those, the significance?
The most significant would be Wisconsin moving to lean Obama, but I should caution here, look, there's outlier polls out there. There's a poll that shows Obama leading in Wisconsin by 14 points. That's kind of skewing this, but I do think Wisconsin's starting to lean. That's shrinking the electoral map. The other surprise for me still is that North Carolina remains on our map as toss-up. This late into the game, 43 or so days out, I would have expected it to move off the map. Obama may still go after it. I don't know if it's worth it, though.
Now, Joe, last week we heard Karl talk about the polls and how he believes they are skewed towards a Democratic turnout, maybe even towards an 08 turnout model. You have a different thought about how the polls, most of them, are being run.
Well, yeah, I started looking at the data in Iowa and in Florida and some of the recent polls, and what I'm seeing is a drop of 4 points with independents, but a rise of 4 points among people identifying themselves as Democrats. So what I think is actually what we're seeing is independents who can say they belong to any party at any moment are starting to shift their identification to Democrats.
So let me get this straight, that you're saying all of the numbers are down so that the independents are up. People that say they're Republicans are now saying they're independents, but the Democrats are staying roughly the same. So thereby it skews Democrat.
Yeah, Democrats and Republicans are staying relatively the same. Real Democrats who say they're Democrats, Republicans who say they're Republicans are still saying that. But independents in these elections often start to say, I consider myself a Democrat or I consider myself a Republican. 2010, they considered themselves Republicans. We got killed on the Democratic side. That's not going to happen this time, that kind of a wave, but there's signs now that they're starting to identify with the Democratic Party.
So bottom line, Karl, he's not buying that these polls are skewed towards the Democrats.
Well, I'm not buying what he's trying to sell. It wouldn't surprise you. Look, I think the problem is this. I think too many people are weighting their models in the state and on the national average to a 2008 model. That is to say, they're showing a disproportionate Democrat turnout in the exit polls, plus 7 points for Democrats in 2008, and reflected in a similar matrix change inside the individual states. And too many of these polls are matching their models to that. You take a look at some of these polls in some of these states, and you have 11 and 12-point Democratic advantages in the poll. When in 2008 it might have been close to that, but in most instances that's not what it historically has been, and that's not what it's being pointed to towards this year. And so, look, we'll see shortly, but I do think that we see it in Wisconsin. The public polling shows the state moving in Obama's direction. The President of the United States does not then go into the state for the first time in 220 days and begin running millions of dollars of advertising because the state has comfortably put away their internal polling shows them in difficulty in the state, which is why the president's showing up.
You know, Karl, a lot of folks, analysts all across the board were saying, boy, this has been a bad 2 weeks for Mitt Romney. He's really had a tough go. And yet you look at these numbers, and he's still very much in this game, in the electoral picture and the map.
Yeah, look, it's a close race. Look at the national polls, which show this essentially dead even. Most days in Gallup daily tracking and Rasmussen tracking showing this race dead even, or one candidate or the other up 1 or 2 points at the most. In fact, look, the Obama campaign knows this. We got a new narrative from them, which is, look, national polls are locked dead even, but we're doing a lot better in the battleground states. I mean, it sounds like their strategy is we'll lose the popular vote, but we'll win the Electoral College. That's an awful hard, needle to thread. Look, this is a very close race. Candidates are rarely as bad as they think they are, or conventional wisdom thinks they are, and rarely as good as the conventional wisdom thinks they are. Yeah, look, we ought to just stay focused on the fact this is going to be a very close race right down to the end. It may break at the end one way or the other, but that break isn't going to come until after the debates and when people feel they finally need to make up their minds.
Okay, last thing quickly, Joe. We have this iPad app in which people can put up their maps against yours and Karl's. Chad Gehring is the person who submitted it. Tell us what this map looks like.
Great map. He's got Ohio going with Obama, but still Romney wins. But look at the states that he gives to Romney in the swing states: Nevada, Iowa, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, almost all of them. And what that shows you is two things: the importance of Ohio, because if that thing goes with Obama, or the importance of why Romney needs to hold it if he can. And then look at every single one of these states. If Romney loses Ohio to Obama, one of these states goes like Iowa, Nevada, and he's not at 270 and winning the presidency anymore. It's Obama.
Last word, Karl.
Look, there are 11 different ways to win without Ohio. You'll notice he doesn't give Colorado or New Hampshire to Romney, which I think are, frankly, both insurance policies. Again, this shows how close the race is going to be. You can say Romney's in danger of losing it. You can say Obama's in danger of losing it. It's going to come down to the last ballot on the last moment of the last evening of the election. But I think this map gives a little bit of insurance in the pocket. I think Colorado and New Hampshire both are going to end up in the Romney column.
Thanks, as always, to Karl and Joe. And to Karl's point at the beginning there about record polling, the polling is only ramping up as we move closer to Election Day. Since we taped this segment earlier in this day, 9 new state polls were released, 9 of them. All of them went toward President Obama, but none of them moved a state on the map to another color. Karl and Joe will be back next Monday.